Serving the country. A new Ethics and Integrity Commission. Modernise the House of Commons. Immediate reform of the House of Lords. A reset between Westminster and Holyrood, Cardiff Bay and Stormont. Votes at 16. Over the last 14 years, trust in politics has been shattered. There is a crisis of confidence in our political system's ability to deliver any change. Labour has been transformed from a party of protest to one that always puts the interests of the country first. Now we are determined to do the same with our politics, returning government to the service of working people. This will require a reset in our public life, a clean-up that ensures the highest standards of integrity and honesty. We will ensure there is respect and collaboration across the different governments that make up the United Kingdom. Restoring public service in Westminster. Labour will restore confidence with a new independent Ethics and Integrity Commission to ensure probity in government. Labour will enforce restrictions on ministers lobbying for the companies they used to regulate and give the independent advisor on ministerial interests the powers to start investigations into misconduct. Labour will establish a new modernisation committee tasked with reforming House of Commons procedures, driving up standards and improving working practices. Labour will support an immediate ban on MPs from taking up paid advisory or consultancy roles and task the Modernisation Committee to take forward urgent work on the restrictions that need to be put in place to prevent MPs from taking up roles that stop them serving their constituents and the country. Constitutional reform. Labour will bring an immediate modernisation of the House of Lords by removing the right of hereditary peers to sit and vote. Labour will also introduce a mandatory retirement age of 80 years old. Labour is committed to replacing the House of Lords with an alternative second chamber that is more representative of the regions and nations. Upholding democracy. To encourage participation in our democracy, Labour will improve voter registration and address the inconsistencies in voter ID rules that prevent legitimate voters from voting. We will give 16 and 17-year-olds the right to vote in all elections. Greater collaboration and respect across the country. We will reset the UK government's relationship with devolved governments in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We will ensure members of devolved legislatures have the same free speech protections enjoyed by MPs at Westminster, so elected representatives can hold power to account. Labour will ensure the structures and institutions of intergovernmental working improve relationships and collaboration on policy. Scottish devolution and the Scotland Office. Labour does not support independence or another referendum, but we know that after 14 years of the Conservatives, the people of Scotland need change. Labour will protect and respect devolution and reset relations between governments. The Scotland Office will maximise Scotland's influence, and with Labour it will once again become an advocate for Scotland, both at home and abroad. The Scotland Office will ensure the voice of Scotland is properly heard on issues under the competence of the UK government. Labour will champion brand Scotland across the world through the Scotland Office and our diplomatic and trade networks. Welsh devolution and the Wales Office. Labour will strengthen the relationships between the governments in Westminster and Cardiff Bay. The two governments will work collaboratively to deliver Labour's national missions. Labour recognises that the Welsh fiscal framework is out of date. We are committed to working in partnership with the Wales government to ensure the framework delivers value for money. As part of the strategic review into probation, we will explore the devolution of services to enable them to be more locally responsive. We will work with the Welsh Labour government to consider devolution of youth justice. In line with our commitment to devolve employment support in England, Labour will devolve employment support funding to the Welsh Government. Labour will harness the UK's diplomatic and trade networks, working with the Welsh Government to champion Wales across the world. Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland needs stability and long-term certainty after the challenges of recent years. Labour will work with the Executive and Assembly to improve public services and generate economic growth, and with all political parties and communities to ensure the stability of devolved government. Labour is committed to implementing the Windsor framework in good faith and protecting the UK internal market. A Labour government will champion Northern Ireland around the world and work with the Executive to encourage more businesses to invest in Northern Ireland's future. Labour is committed to taking forward discussions with the Executive about a fiscal framework for Northern Ireland. As a guarantor of the Good Friday Agreement, A Labour government will uphold both the letter and the spirit of the agreement, along with the principle of consent on which it rests. We will work with the Irish government to strengthen the relationship between our two countries. The Legacy Act denies justice to the families and victims of the Troubles. Labour will repeal and replace it by returning to the principles of the Stormont House Agreement and seeking support from all communities in Northern Ireland. Labour will end the chaos of sleaze and division, turn the page, and reset politics to put it back in the service of working people.